Listen up, man. Have you ever been through that soul-crushing moment when she just flat out ignores you? Like you're an invisible ghost in the room? Pay attention, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the ultra-rare secret that transforms ignored guys into genuine magnets for female attention. It's like playing chess against a grandmaster. She makes her move of silence, and you're just stuck there, paralyzed, not knowing what to do. But what if I told you there's a specific move, a psychological checkmate that few apply, and it completely turns the game in your favor? You know, what happens when a woman ignores you? Your brain goes into panic mode. Cortisol levels spike. Your self-esteem plummets like a plane without an engine. You feel small, insignificant, like your presence doesn't matter one bit in her universe. And then comes the worst mistake. You try harder, send more texts, show up where she is, like all her photos. And without realizing it, you're digging your own emotional grave. Every desperate attempt is like pouring gasoline on the fire of her disinterest. Can you feel that pain? That feeling of helplessness when she reads your message and doesn't reply? When she walks past you and doesn't even make eye contact? I'm going to tell you something almost no one realizes. Over the past 8 years, deciphering the hidden codes of male-female dynamics, I've uncovered a startling pattern. Most men react in exactly the wrong way when ignored, and that's why they remain invisible. But there's a specific methodology, field-tested with thousands of real cases, that transforms this situation almost instantly. It's what I call the VIRA protocol. Remember this acronym because it's going to change your life. Now I'm going to give you the 5 fundamental techniques to turn this game around once and for all. First technique, the power of strategic detachment. When she ignores you, your first instinct is to chase her. It's biological, man. Your primitive brain interprets rejection as a threat to survival. But here's the secret few apply. The more you pursue, the more value you lose in her eyes. Think of it like a rubber band. The more you pull, the more tension you create, and eventually it snaps. Strategic detachment works the opposite way. You release the rubber band, remove the tension, and suddenly she feels your absence. Remember that time you stopped paying attention to something, and out of nowhere it came back into your life? It's exactly that principle applied to relationships. Stop sending texts. Stop liking her photos. Stop showing up where she is. Just disappear from her radar. Strategic detachment. Makes sense? Second technique, magnetic inner focus. Here lies the real power, brother. While she's ignoring you, you have 2 options: dwelling on it and stalking her profile, or investing that energy in yourself. Guess which option high-value men choose? Studies show that women have an ultra-sensitive internal radar for detecting men who are evolving. It's like they have a 6th sense for noticing when you're becoming a better version of yourself. Start working out more intensely. Start that project you've been putting off. Connect with friends who energize you. Post stories doing interesting things, but never pay attention. Never do it to impress her, do it for yourself. I'll tell you about Carlos, a client of mine. The woman he was interested in started ignoring him completely. Instead of begging for attention, he signed up for boxing classes. In 3 weeks, she was texting him, asking where he'd been. Coincidence? There's no such thing as coincidence in the game of attraction. Magnetic inner focus. Can you feel the difference? Third technique, the art of silent observation. It's not always about you when a woman ignores you. Maybe she's going through personal issues. Maybe she's testing your value, or she's simply lost interest. The fatal error is to assume the worst-case scenario without evidence. Silent observation is like being an emotional detective. You analyze her patterns without making hasty judgments. Is she ignoring just you, or is she distant from everyone? Has something changed in her life recently? Are there indirect signs that she's still thinking about you? But be careful. Observing isn't obsessively stalking. It's collecting strategic information for your next move, like a poker player reading their opponent's tells. Once I realized a woman was ignoring me because she'd gotten back with her ex, but she kept watching my stories. That small detail told me everything I needed to know. She was still interested, just confused. 3 weeks later, she reached out to me. Silent observation. Does that make sense to you? Fourth technique, strategic re-engagement. Now comes the trickiest part. After applying detachment, focusing on yourself and observing the situation, it's time to make a calculated move. But it's not just any move. It's the right move at the right time in the right way. Strategic re-engagement works like premium bait in the ocean. You don't just throw anything into the water hoping the fish bites. You use exactly what attracts that specific type of fish. After disappearing for 2 or 3 weeks, you reappear, but not with a generic text asking how she's doing. You send something that demonstrates evolution, value, and nonchalance. It could be a recent achievement, an interesting experience, or even a meme you used to share. The secret is in the energy. Your message should convey that you're doing well, evolving, and that you remembered her casually, not desperately. It's the difference between "Hey stranger" and "I just got back from an amazing hike and it reminded me of that time you said you wanted to try rappelling." Strategic re-engagement. Can you see the power in that? Fifth technique, high-value nonverbal communication. This is the most powerful technique, and almost no one realizes its importance. Your body speaks louder than your words. When you meet her in person after being ignored, every micro-expression counts. High value. Men don't show resentment. They don't avoid eye contact. They don't act weird or uncomfortable. They simply exist in their own space of power, radiating calm confidence. Imagine walking into a room where she is. You don't rush over to greet her, nor do you deliberately ignore her. You're simply present, talking to others, genuinely smiling, showing that your life has moved on and is better than ever. Your body language should scream silent success. Shoulders back, chin slightly up, calm and deliberate movements, no rush, no anxiety, like a lion that knows its place at the top of the food chain. I saw this happen at a party. A guy who'd been ignored for weeks showed up transformed, not just physically but energetically. The woman who'd been ignoring him spent the whole night trying to get his attention. He had mastered the art of magnetic presence, non-verbal communication. Does it all make sense now? I know what you're thinking right now. But if I don't do anything, she'll think I don't care and will completely forget about me. Listen, brother, that's exactly the thought that keeps men trapped in the cycle of invisibility. Acting out of desperation is like yelling at a rock concert. No one hears you and you just lose your voice. Reacting with emotional intelligence and self-worth is what makes her stop and think, wait, why isn't he chasing me like all the other guys? That's when the game turns around. Remember the VIRA framework I mentioned? I'll break it down now. V for value yourself. Your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see it. When you chase, you subconsciously communicate that she's worth more than you. Flip that equation. I for independence. Your happiness, your peace, your fulfillment cannot depend on a woman's attention. That's giving too much power to someone who's ignoring you. Show that you are complete on your own. R for respect. Respect yourself first, respect her boundaries too. If she chose to ignore you, respect that decision without pathetic insistence. Self-respect is an aphrodisiac. A for action, strategic. Every move should have purpose. Don't react with raw emotion. React with calculated intelligence, like a chess grandmaster who thinks 5 moves ahead. VIRA framework. Can you see how it all connects? I'm going to tell you about a moment that changed my perspective forever. I was at a busy bar, loud music, vibrant atmosphere. I saw a woman who'd ignored me for weeks. She was there, talking and laughing with another guy. When I walked past, she barely looked at me, like I was invisible, a ghost in the crowd. The old me would have tried to get attention, compete, show that I was there. But I applied exactly what I'm teaching you. I greeted other friends, genuinely enjoyed myself, radiated positive energy. Within 20 minutes, she was by my side, wanting to talk. The other guy, he was out of the picture. You know why this works? Because value attracts value. Desperation repels. It's a universal law of human relationships. Pay attention now, because I'm going to give you the complete roadmap. When a woman ignores you, your primitive brain goes into survival mode. But you're not a caveman anymore. You have access to strategies refined by modern psychology. First, accept her silence as a gift. Yes, a gift. It's the perfect opportunity for you to reconnect with your personal power. How many men waste years chasing crumbs of attention? Second, use this time to build a life that others envy. Not out of ego, but out of self-love. When you become the protagonist of your own story, People naturally want to be a part of it. Third, understand that the game has changed. Modern women are bombarded with attention 24/7. Being just another desperate guy in line is a guaranteed failure. Being the only one who doesn't beg? That's magnetic power. Can you feel that paradigm shift? Now I'm going to share something I rarely mention. There's a specific window of opportunity when you apply these techniques, generally between the 2nd and 4th week. That's when the absence of your presence starts to create a void on her emotional radar. But there's a crucial detail. If you come back too soon, it looks like a cheap trick. If you wait too long, she might move on completely. Timing is an art few master. Remember the chess metaphor. Each piece has its ideal moment to move. Moving the knight too early can expose your king. Waiting too long can lose the opportunity for checkmate. The dance of bodies in social spaces follows the same logic. When you pull away, you create space for her to approach. When you get too close, she needs to pull back to breathe. It's basic emotional physics. Perfect timing. Does that dynamic make sense? I'm going to be straight with you now. Most men will never apply this. They'll read it, agree, and keep doing the same old thing. Chasing, begging for attention, diminishing their value with every attempt. But you're not most men. You're here, investing time to understand the deep psychology of attraction. That already puts you in the top 5% of men who truly understand the game. Apply the 50-30-20 rule. I'm going to teach you now. 50% of your energy should go towards your personal growth, 30% for your social and professional connections, only 20% for thinking about romantic relationships. This proportion creates the perfect balance. You evolve, expand your network, and still keep space for romance, but without emotional dependency. It's the math of relational success. Chatu's 30-20 rule. Can you visualize that distribution? Want to know what separates average guys from extraordinary men in this situation? The ability to transform rejection into fuel for growth. Every time she ignores you, it's an opportunity to become unbeatable. Think of every time she ignores you as a workout at the emotional gym. You're strengthening your resilience muscle, developing immunity against external validation, building an inner fortress that no woman can shake. Studies show that men who develop this mindset not only overcome the current situation, but naturally become more attractive to high-value women in the future. It's like upgrading your emotional operating system. You were running Windows 95, and now you're installing the latest version. Everything works better, faster, more efficiently. Emotional upgrade. Does that make sense to you? Now pay attention to this detail that almost no one notices. When you stop giving her attention, something magical happens in the female subconscious. She starts to question her own value. Why isn't he chasing me? Turns into, am I not as special as I thought? Which evolves into, I need to find out what's going on with him. It's reverse psychology applied naturally. No manipulation, just a natural consequence of your high-value actions. You're not playing games. You're living your best life. I'm going to share one final secret that completely transformed my game. When you genuinely don't need her attention, that's exactly when she wants to give you attention the most. Is it paradoxical? Yes. Does it work? Always. Why? Because emotional self-sufficiency is the most attractive cologne a man can wear. It doesn't come in a bottle, it comes from within. The paradox of attraction. Can you feel that power? Remember, brother, you're not here to convince anyone of your worth. You're here to live that worth so intensely that it becomes undeniable. When she ignores you, she's giving you the gift of time to build that reality. Use every day of silence as an opportunity for evolution. Every moment without a reply as a chance to connect more deeply with yourself. Every unreplied view as a reminder that your happiness comes from within. The transformation I'm proposing isn't cosmetic. It's structural. You're not just changing tactics. You're changing who you are at the most fundamental level. And that man is irresistibly attractive. Can you visualize this new version of yourself? We've reached the moment of truth. You have two choices before you now. Continue in the same cycle of desperation and invisibility, or apply the Vieira protocol and completely turn this game around. Don't waste any more time feeling invisible or chasing those who ignore you. This is the only approach that truly works, and few men master it. The question isn't whether it works, the question is whether you have the courage to apply it. Remember, chess, you've just learned the Grandmaster's moves. Now it's your turn to play. Every woman who ignores you from now on will no longer be a source of pain, but an opportunity to demonstrate your new power. Do this now, before you forget. Like this video if it made sense to you. Subscribe to the channel for more strategies that will transform your love life. And most importantly, start applying it today. Because in the end, when you master the art of not needing, that's exactly when everyone wants to be around you. The board is set. The pieces are positioned. Checkmate, brother. The game is yours now.